Hey, it's Christina with Tina Girl Travels. We are in Skagway, Alaska, and today we're going to check out all the shops and have a look at what you can buy in this little town. Wow, another beautiful day in Alaska. This is our second port of call on our 10 days in Alaska. As you arrive in port, you will likely see several ships. Skagway can hold up to 4 ships. Today we lucked out with the best parking spot in the lot. So here's a map of the port that we're looking at today. I was actually surprised to see how far inland Skagway is located. It's the northernmost port in our itinerary. Let's head into town and check out the shops. Skagway is a very walkable city, but if you need a shuttle, you can find one at the bus loop. It runs every 15 minutes. It'll cost $5 per person, but that's for a day pass. As you walk into town, you'll notice there's a beautiful wood building on the right-hand side with washrooms. And you'll also come across interesting old trains. For all you train lovers out there, these include steam locomotive engine 52 that was built in 1881, and rotary snowplow number 1 built in 1898, and caboose 909 built in 1910. Fitting with the theme, the first shop you'll come to is the train shop. Let's pop in, have a look. It's quite a big building. There are nice clean washrooms in here as well, and a coffee shop if you need a good latte right away like I did. With each store we look into, I'll try and show you the gist of what they sell, but more interestingly, I'm going to try and find things that store is unique for. Every port has loads of t-shirt shops and jewelry stores. In this video, I'm not going to bore you with repetitive things. I'll be showing you the coolest things I find, and by the end of the video, you'll have a good idea of what you can expect to find in Skagway. The train shop had a great variety of items. Lots of good stuff for kids, like Alaskan themed books and toys. And something that has recently re-emerged as a collectible is stickers. You'll see them throughout Alaska, and they can be really fun to collect, not too expensive, and each city had a lot of different ones because different artists make them. Have a look at this gigantic train whistle. So cool. Have a look at this cool knife made from a railroad spike. That is quite something. Here's a little canvas pouch featuring White Pass. Skagway is where you'll book this excursion. It's a 4.5 to 5 hour train ride between Skagway and Fraser, British Columbia, Canada. It's a fantastic ride with amazing scenery and quite an experience, I hear. This excursion will sell out quickly, so be sure to book it before you arrive. Let's have a quick look at Miner's Gems. This store sold the usual jewelry, but also some souvenirs. I always like to bring home like a Christmas tree ornament from our travels, and I think these are kind of nice. Let's pop into Glacier Bay Trading Company. It's full of sort of the usual souvenirs. If you collect things like shot glasses or pins or playing cards, you're going to find them here. In my last video in Juneau, I mentioned that I forgot to bring a coat to Alaska, and I was panicking about finding one before the trip. Don't you worry, my friend, there is no shortage of jackets, coats, and sweaters in Alaska. An interesting product I want to show you, and you'll find this in so many shops in the Alaskan ports. It's called Devil's Club. It comes in a salve, lotion, and a cream. It's made from a plant called Devil's Club that's found in the Alaskan and British Columbian rainforests. It's used as a natural remedy for common ailments like arthritis, eczema, and muscle aches. And I will let you know how it works because I bought some for myself. Oh, shocking! I'm surprised there's a Diamonds International and Milano Diamond Gallery. We'll just skip those this time around. I'm sure there's a Del Sol around here somewhere as well. And I'm also sure we'll find them in our next port of call, which is Sitka. Let's head on into the Loom. That sounds like an interesting store. The Loom carries all kinds of unique items, from canvas bags to handmade glasses cases. They have interesting shoes and boots here, and they have some rugs that are really interesting. They're made from animal hides. So if you're looking for the visitor center, look for this iconic building with over 8,000 pieces of driftwood on the front, and apparently it's the most photographed building in Alaska, and I can see why. This building was built in 1899. I always love a good bookshop. Let's head into the Skagway News Depot. It's so interesting to see the books, especially from local authors. This shop has loads of Alaskan-themed books for both adults and children. Next, let's head into a shop called Taya River Arts. It's named after a river running through the area that's fed by icy cold glacier water. This shop features local artists from Skagway, and there's some really fascinating stuff in here. Skagway is where my obsession with the woolly mammoth started on this trip. And let me tell you, later in this video, I have a lot more to show you on the woolly mammoth. It's so interesting. Alaska has some incredibly talented and innovative artists. I commented on that in one of the shops, and they reminded me that the long, dark winters are a great time for these artists to hone their skills and create amazing works of art. This is a shop where you will find some of those incredible pieces. You can spend a long time in this store looking at these one-of-a-kind pieces. It was so interesting. The next place we're going to check out is called The Local Jeweler. I loved this shop and the owner's story. I'll add a link to their website below in the description. So the owner, Murat, was born in Armenia and grew up in Istanbul, Turkey. Living in Alaska was his dream as a boy. This is a family-run business. If you buy something from this shop, that money stays in this town. And I love shopping local.
So that's a gold nugget. That's in its raw form. Roughly right around 22 carats when it comes out of the ground. This is high quality gold too. And we turn those, oh yeah, very dense. We turn those into pendants. We actually just sold one yesterday. Put a little bail on it.
Oh yeah.
And we have chains as well. And
beautiful. So what is that called?
this is gold quartz, and this is how it's found in nature, just like this. This is what the miners look for when they're mining gold, because the gold and the quartz are usually found together. It's a good indication if there's going to be more gold.
Right.
And you can see the fine gold in there. That's what they're mining nowadays. It's called fine gold.
Okay.
Gold nuggets are getting more and more rare. But typically, if they follow these veins, they can go for miles, a few feet, and hopefully they're going to find some nuggets.
I found that the store owners and associates that worked in the stores were so kind and loved to chat about life in Alaska and how they ended up there and all the things they were selling in their shops. They were very knowledgeable about what they were selling, and many knew the artists personally. Let's head on into the Harley-Davidson shop and have a look around. If you're a collector of Harley-Davidson shirts or do-rags from different cities, you'll want to pop in here. You'll also find stores in Juneau and Ketchikan. All right, for my quilting friends, you'll want to check out Russian Tailor's Quilt Alaska. This store nearly had me pulling out my sewing machine. You can buy quilt kits. Oh my goodness, the Alaskan-inspired quilted wall hangings, blankets, table runners. They were just so beautiful. They had fabric and specialty fabrics as well, designed by Alaskan artists. Really cool notions like custom pin cushions. I'll add a link to their website. I noticed they even had free patterns that you could try out. And guess what? They'll even ship to you if you find something you like when you're at home. And yeah, definitely check out this store. While we're talking about textiles, let's have a look at Boreal Artworks. This store was right up my alley as well. Beautiful jewelry, beautiful artwork. They also stocked the most incredible yarns in silk, cashmere, and of course wool. Now, this was so unique as well. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. It says on the tag, each spring, sled dogs in Alaska shed their soft underfur. This underfur is brushed from the dogs, blended with Alaskan-grown wool, and hand-spun on a traditional spinning wheel. It says the items may shed, but the more you wear it, the fluffier it gets. It's 50% dog fur, 50% wool. You're going to need to go check these out. Be sure to tell me what you think below in the comments. Klondike Tours, Gold Panning and Gifts had a wide variety of Alaskan souvenirs. They had things like ulu knives, which you may have seen in my last video. We went into more detail on those. That was the Juneau video. They also had artist prints, and they even had the Russian nesting dolls. We'll see more Russian influence in our next port of call, which will be Sitka. If you're planning on doing some hiking, paddling, or skiing, you may want to check out the Mountain Shop. You'll find that on 4th Avenue. Skagway Hardware has been in this town since 1962. Their motto is, if we don't have it, you don't need it, and if you need it, we can get it. It is actually an Ace Hardware. They sell the usual hardware store stuff, and as you can see, you can get all kinds of souvenirs here as well, and you can get a bottle of water for only $1. I love the names of some of the stores in this town. Buckshots and Bobby Pins. That's a fun name for a fun store. If you're looking for canned Alaskan salmon, halibut, herring, you can also buy caribou products and condiments. And I love these coasters. They're really unique. Something you're going to see in many stores in all the Alaskan ports is the ulu knife. They will range in price anywhere from $20 into the hundreds of dollars depending on what their handle is made out of and what the metal is that they've used. Traditionally, it's used by the Inuit for chopping and cutting pretty much everything. The Skagway Outlet store sells pretty much every souvenir you can think of, including the Lazy One brand with the really cute comfy clothes for the whole family. This next store really sparked my obsession with the woolly mammoth. I feel like when you hear about creatures like this, there's something you get to see a replica of in a museum. You never get to touch it, and you certainly can't own a piece of it. Well, that's not true with the woolly mammoth. I'll add some links below on interesting facts about the woolly mammoth in Alaska. Let's head inside and see what I'm talking about. I just walked into the store and started looking around at things, and then I saw this.
So that's just that's mammoth ivory. Essentially they just polish it down, but when they pull it out of the ground, they usually have to wait about 3 years until it's dry enough to actually work with.
Wow.
So he just sets it out and just cuts and polishes, and him and his wife do all the mammoth ivory stuff.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't buy any woolly mammoth in Skagway. You're gonna have to wait until my Icy Strait Point video to see what I bought, and believe me, you won't be disappointed. I did buy something in this store though. I bought this metal raven. An ironwork artist named Jack Willoughby made it, and I love it. I also love this idea, blind date with a book. On the wrapper, you'll find some clues about the book inside. You buy it, unwrap it, and surprise, your blind date with a book. This store had so many unique things in it. I could have spent hours in here looking at the paintings, the jewelry, and the artwork. Be sure to check out Inspired Arts. I think you'll really like it. The next shop we'll have a look at is called Wild Yukon Furs. It's right next door to Inspired Arts. I had a good look at their website. It's very interesting. I'll link it below for you to check out. They use sustainable, natural furs to make their jewelry. So muskrat, beaver, lynx, wolf, wolverine, marten, and fox. They are a local company, Indigenous owned, and committed to sustainable business practices and giving back to the local community. Be sure to pop in. Well, that was perfectly timed. This is what happens when you try and work from home. That howling was not a strategically placed sound effect. It was actually my dog having a bad dream. Anyway, be sure to pop into Wild Yukon Furs and see their unique products. I've never seen anything like it. I really loved their store. I just can't get over how different each port of call is in Alaska. If you have a trip booked, I would love to hear about it. Leave me a comment in the comments section below. I'll add links to every store I mentioned on my video down below in the description if you want to check something out that we talked about. I'll also add links to my favorite anti-theft or anti-pickpocket day packs that we use on every adventure we go on. They are amazing. So here comes the White Pass train we talked about earlier. They are returning from their trip to the Canadian border. Thanks so much for watching right to the very end. Would you do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up? That actually goes a long way in the world of YouTube. Also, be sure to subscribe. I have videos coming up on my shopping excursions to Sitka, Icy Strait Point, and Ketchikan. Go back and check out my video on shopping in Juneau. I think you'll really like it. Thanks so much for watching Tina Girl Travels, and I'll see you next time.